Hey everybody, this is Tim. Here's a quick heads up for our Los Angeles listeners. Tonebenders is hosting a sound design meetup in LA on Tuesday, February 28th at 7 p.m. We have the covered patio set aside for us at the Thirsty Merchant in Studio City. I would love to meet as many people from the LA sound community as I can, so come on out, tell some stories, and raise a glass with your fellow sound folk. Full details can be found at tonebenderspodcast.com. Okay, on with the show. Hello and welcome to Tonebenders, the sound design podcast where we talk to the sonic artists behind our favorite films, games, and series. My name is Tim Muirhead and I will be your host today as we veer a little off the road we normally travel on Tonebenders and instead have a conversation about guilds and what they can do for sound people. Joining us today are perhaps the two most qualified people we could possibly have to talk about this subject. We have the president of the Motion Picture Sound Editors and the Cinema Audio Society. So let's meet them. First up, we have Karol Urban. Karol is a re-recording mixer based in LA. Her recent credits include She-Hulk, For All Mankind, an astonishingly high number of Grey's Anatomy episodes, and upcoming Tiny Beautiful Things in April. She has been the president of the Cinema Audio Society, or CAS, for 4 years. Welcome to Tonebenders, Karol.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. We've wanted to have you on for a really long time so that we can check your name off the list. That's awesome. We also have Mark Lanza. Mark is a busy sound editor, also based in LA. You will have heard his work on shows like Legends of Tomorrow, Reacher, and Scorpion. He is the president of the Motion Picture Sound Editors, or MPSE, which he has been for 4 years. Welcome, Mark. It's great to meet you.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Before we get going, I'm just going to put my cards on the table. I'm a member of both MPSC and CAS, as well as the Academy of Canadian Television. I'm Canadian, as well as the Television Academy in the United States. So I'm a joiner. So you don't have to sell to me, but I'm sure there are many people listening to Tonebenders that are either upcoming in their career or maybe they are thinking about joining a guild and wondering what maybe that does for them. So I was wondering maybe if you can think back, what was the reason that you joined? Maybe Karol, do you want to take that first?
Well, I'm like you. Tim. I'm a joiner. I'm actually a member of CAS and MPSC and the Television Academy as well. For me, I was on the East Coast. I joined before I came to Los Angeles. I was in the DC area. Where there's a number of headquarters for different networks, and it is the charity capital of the world, so it's actually quite a lot of documentary work, political and ecological, nature documentary work. So that was my focus, but there was really only like maybe, and I'm probably exaggerating greatly by saying that there might be 50 people who did what who do what I do back in that area, and my husband being one of them. And we wanted a community, and we felt that while we did the best we could to form a community with the people that were there in the city, that there was a lot more knowledge and perspective and workflows to explore, and it wasn't locally available. So I joined the MPSC and I joined the CAS, and the rest is history. Yeah, it's been very, very useful. Yeah.
Mark?
Well, I also didn't grow up out here in Los Angeles. So, I came out here. There was no nepotism going on of any kind. And long story for another time, I was a computer programmer and had never had a film class and got into the industry in the beginning of the digital age, sort of ushering that in. So, I didn't know anybody. It was a weird thing to try and make those connections. And also, once I actually started working in the industry, I was meeting all these people that were doing all these huge projects and, people that I was aspiring to be like at some point. And so I saw they were all a member of the Motion Picture Sound Editors. And so from that point, I said, well, if I can get into the Motion Picture Sound Editors, number one, I can meet these people because it was just, great to shake their hand and talk about stories and how they did what they did and get some knowledge from them and, maybe even work with them at some point. So. And then networking, as everyone here knows, is like the number one thing in this industry. I mean, that's how you get in. Once you get in, then you've got to be good. But to get from show to show, project to project, studio to studio, you've got to know somebody because nobody hires you off a resume. So that's why I went into the motion picture sound editors. And like Karol, I'm also a member of the TV Academy. And I don't do enough mixing to, I don't think I qualify right now for the CAS. But although I was nominated for one of their awards back in the day. So
I just had my first one this year, and I've been volunteering for 15 years. So there you go.
That's right. Oh, yeah. And speaking of Grey's Anatomy, everyone in town has worked on Grey's Anatomy.
Heck yeah.
I did Grey's
Although,
Anatomy
has anybody
season
done
1.
over 200 episodes? See there?
No, you're the queen of... Not only are you the queen of Grey's Anatomy, but there's a funny story that there's still a sound effect that I created in season 1.
It's a Vespa. That's right. Oh my God, so true.
The Vespa bye.
Yes, we still put that in, or rather, we did when I left. It's been a season and a half since I've left, but yes.
Right. It was like a pregnant pause in dialogue, and it was an uncomfortable moment, and I put this little by in the Vespa, and they thought it was hysterical, and they used it the rest of the season, and then I moved on, but apparently they're still using it, 20 years later.
Oh, I used it in season 16. Absolutely, 100%.
So it's in a lot of them.
I love those stories of the little sounds that endure after people leave. That's amazing. So let's get back onto the guilds. What is the main reason that you would tell someone that, assuming they meet the qualifications, that they should join up? Mark, do you want to take that?
You're kind of recognized as one of the elite members of whichever guild you are in. There's a certain amount of prerequisites you need to get in and things like that. You need to know people to recommend you and sign for you and all that kind of thing. The social networking aspect cannot be understated. And then there are little things like you get screeners when it comes time for award consideration. You've got invitations to different things all throughout the year. Discounts to our submission process, discounts to our awards, promotions from vendors that are with MPSE that from time to time they give us deals on things. And one of the biggest ones is our Sound Advice events, where see what we did there? Sound Advice. Yeah.
They're lovely.
It's a series of seminars that we put on, and we have been for a few years. It started pre-pandemic. We went virtual for the pandemic, and now we're talking about how to best bring it back to live. And even when they were live, we streamed them, so you can be an international member and still view, and CAS does the same kind of stuff also. They don't have as cool a name, but...
It's true. We're the Sound Symposium. Yes. Yes.
See, I told you.
What about Cinema Audio Society?
Well, honestly, we do a lot of the same things, just geared towards being a sound mixer. There are a number of different professions that are represented in MPSE and a number of different professions that are represented for CAS. So we also have a virtual series, a physical screening series, social events. We have a magazine. We have a YouTube channel. We have a podcast series. We put out a lot of information, and we do a lot of building community and providing resources to the professional so that they can better themselves and also get themselves out of a jam. So actually, one of the things that I was going to say that I've found to be the most wonderful thing about CAS is that I moved across the country, and I didn't really know anyone. And I used my CAS directory, kind of like the phone book. And God bless them. I would say that 95% of people met with me immediately and were very interested in my experience and were very open about talking about their experience. And it led me in a situation where I was, a relatively young mixer from Virginia coming into, great big beehive of industry Los Angeles. And I knew when people asked me questions, the terminology for things, workflows, I was able to look intelligent, and it helped me secure a position. And if ever I find myself in a pickle, I was just at a CAS member's house last week who was working on setting up an Atmos playback system using some a bespoke chain of IOs, et cetera, kind of an interesting signal flow. And I was able to call up different CAS members, add my own experience, and be able to give resource. Like that. That's what it's about. It is a gathering of people who are veterans in the industry via the fact that they were able to enter, but it's also a community of people who are veterans in the industry who are dedicated to using community to better each other and better themselves.
Yeah, and some of our events are actually crossover between organizations.
Yeah, we do one together.
Yeah, some, right, we plan together, and some we just invite each other to, yeah,
that's true.
Hey, I think your members will really dig this, so you're invited.
Yeah, absolutely.
And since Karol and I are friends personally as well as professionally, we talk and, we hang out and we invite each other, and we think, what would the other guild like?
Absolutely. In fact, we've been 2 years running, we've been doing something called the Sounding Board. and it's got kind of three major events, or at least it's the way we've done the last years. Could change at any time. We're only on version 2.0, right, Mark?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah, like 3 sections in the event. Yeah.
So we do a parade of carts because we represent production mixers as well, Foley mixers, ADR, re-recording, and scoring as well. This event is all inclusive, so we included sound effects field recordists in our parade of carts, which we only did as a production event for many, many years, and everyone loves it. The CAS loves it. It's wonderful. Everybody wants to see the other person's techniques to better themselves. It's wonderful, and they want to share their secrets.
Yeah, their parade of carts, when they would have it before we were involved with that, I would show up. That was my favorite thing. And I talked to all the guys and I'd be like, why do you have this? Why do you do that? And
right.
Yeah, super fun.
I get this on stage. What makes that? How come? What is this? What is that? How come? Yeah, exactly. How do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? It's lovely.
Yeah. And there's crossover too. Yeah, we go out recording effects, and so we see what the production guys who are doing this for a living all day, just recording what they're using, and it filters down into ours.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I must say, one of the other aspects of CAS that I found to be a major advantage is the fact that there really is no other organization that pairs production with post. When I get on a show or get on a film and I look into the crew list and I see the production mixer, oftentimes I'll see CAS at the end of their name, and I'll be able to call that dude up and be like, hey, or woman, where dude is a neutral term. I'm a dude. And say, hey, so what was it like? What are the filmmakers like? You spend a lot of time on set with these different individuals that are going to come into my room for probably 5 days. What are they like? What are they looking for? What were they concerned about? What were some of your challenges? Tell me about it. And it's been a really fantastic advantage for my position, but also on series that go season to season and continue and are actually in production while I'm in post on other episodes. We can communicate and communicate to the clients using similar language in order to get improvements in workflow that help both of our positions, help both of our functions, and ultimately the end quality of the production. So it's been great.
So CAS covers production sound mixers, Foley mixers, re-recording mixers.
ADR and scoring.
ADR and scoring. Mark, do you want to talk about who MPSE is helping out?
Yeah, we cover all the editors. You got your Foley editors, your dialogue editors, your effects editors, background editors, ADR editors, and the sound supervisors.
Music editors.
Oh my God, music editors.
No, it's okay.
I love my music editors.
I always worry when people ask me the list if I left somebody out because, I love everybody and I never really leave them out, but, we're human.
Do you want to talk about qualifications if someone's interested in joining, how they would go about it? Mark, maybe take that first.
It depends on which membership you're going for, because we have an active domestic membership, we have an international membership, we have an affiliate membership, and an associate. So that way, like with the associate, even if you don't cut sound, but you're like the scheduler for all the sound crew and work in one of the studios or post-production houses or whatever, you can join the MPSE so you can stay aware of what's going on in the industry, still get invitations to the events. All of your editor friends, employees are all going to be there. So I just had Scott Turner, he's the new guy over at Sony, who's doing all that stuff. I'm like, Scott, why aren't you a member of the MPSE? He goes, I've been meaning to do that. And bam, we put him in last month. For an active membership, you need, I think it's 3 years of credits. It has to be, it can't be commercials or ads or, any kind of thing like that. It needs to be productions, movies, TV, and video games, which I didn't mention. We're also video game editors. Video games are actually a bigger industry than domestic features are. So they're huge, and we have a big presence, and we've done a number of sound device events for our video game editors. Then you need two members who are MPSE members to sponsor you, and a letter of recommendation as well.
And for CAS?
It's similar. It's very similar. I guess the two most popular and applicable to your question would be active and associate. So for us, the active membership is no less than 5 years of experience as a professional sound mixer in motion pictures or television.
You're so snobby.
I know, right? I know, right? So elitist. No, it's 5 years, but we love our associates, and oftentimes our associates become active. which is, and we help them become active. Like I personally, when I applied, the 5 years was not an issue. I have had many people that I have directed to associate that as a result of the information community that they gathered at CAS, it's really helped them to continue and fast track their career and reach that 5 years. So I highly recommend associate or active, regardless of your qualifications. But active membership is 5 years. 2 recommendations: 2 active members in good standing have to sponsor you, and you have to put in an application in writing.
That's an interesting idea, because I know a lot of people, a roadblock for them might be not knowing 2 people already in, but joining as an associate, then you would meet people, and then you'll have those 2 people, I would assume, in a fairly short period of time.
That's right.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about associate as a stepping stone to become a full member. That's an interesting idea. I wish I had thought of that myself. I would have joined earlier.
And actually, if I may add to that, particularly our board recognizes that, and we recognize that we're trying to build a community and support the industry. And it's all about legacy and kind of a great number of our purpose statements are about kind of replacing the absence of the apprenticeship position that no longer really exists in our field. We're trying to build a community and build the next generation up. So if we know that you're applying for an associate membership and it is your motivation to become an active member, we will help you become an active member. It is our mission to build active members. Yeah.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we also have a student membership in addition to all the others. And all you need to get to be a student member is your student ID, and your teacher has to say, yeah, they're currently enrolled, in a film class. And we have our student award as well. And then, the students, exactly, they start networking. And and the networking, actually, I just hired an editor at our Sound Advice event. I met a girl who was from Japan originally, and I needed a native Japanese.
Is it a Yako?
Speaking. Yeah.
I love her.
So
yes.
I know.
Love her.
She's so sweet.
She's lovely.
So I just hired her to do my next project as my dialogue editor.
Yeah.
And I didn't know her until
Absolutely.
we met at the Sound Advice event. So
Absolutely. And yeah.
I took her name down, and I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to use you, because, you use all the people you know.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to use her, but I got her info.
Yes.
So she starts for me soon. Yeah.
Yeah, she's lovely.
So I guess one of the marquee events that both of your associations put up is the annual awards, which are coming up soon. The MPSE, I believe, is 1 week before the CAS. The MPSE awards are on February 26th.
26th, yeah.
And if someone is interested in going, they can go to mpse.org.
And it's hosted by Patton Oswalt this year.
Yes, Patton Oswalt, who is one of my favorite comedians.
It's gonna be good. I can't wait.
You can't go wrong with that.
He's great.
And the Cinema Audio Society Awards are the following weekend on...
They're March 4th, and tickets are available at the cinemaaudiosociety.org website. It's going to be a great party. Both are going to be a great party. I'm going to both. I'm going.
I'm going to both, too. We have an open bar at ours, Carol.
Yeah, that's true, but we do have really fancy scotch, so I'm just saying.
They should recover by the following weekend so they can attend your awards.
That's true. I got a detox after yours before I hit mine. That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to fully enjoy yours because then I'll be like a week away from mine. You're exactly right. So
the amount of stress that's off my shoulders when I go to your awards, knowing that mine went off,
no doubt.
It's just
no doubt.
Yeah, because you're going to be at my awards freaking out about next week.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's like your stress ramps up to do, and you want so much to honor. Because there's such greatness. You're celebrating, like, I feel like I can speak for you in this sense, Mark, to say that, like, we live what we do. Like, it's our passion.
Absolutely.
Like, we live it, we breathe it. We wake up in the morning, we sleep it, we dream it. When we're having fun, we're typically enjoying something in film or television or an investigated aspect of sound, or even just walking down the street and observing how things naturally pan as you pass by and how they feel when they're, like, we're in it. We're in it. We live it, And so having the responsibility of an organization made up of such incredibly talented individuals to be the president of that organization and to facilitate their celebration is an incredible honor, but it's also really stressful and a lot of work. So like, so going up to it is like a tick, 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 of the roller coaster, and then once you hit over that hump and like, you know, your heart didn't break and everything's okay, man, it's great when the awards are actually rolling and seeing it happen and seeing people and being able to introduce people at the reception, seeing people make new friendships.
Yeah.
It is the best feeling. It is the best feeling.
It is, to see everybody interacting, especially when you get from different organizations. They're all celebrating each other.
It's beautiful.
And and coming together, by the way, your board and my board, we are all volunteers.
100%.
So
yep.
we have an office manager, and so does Karol, and that's it. That's the only paid position in our organization. Our entire boards are all volunteers. So you know, even our quarterly magazine, Christina
all
Horgan is just, she does all
Mm-hmm.
that on her own time. It's amazing.
All our YouTube videos, all our podcast production, all of that volunteer.
So having those people put it all together at the awards, I have an amazing vice president who is going to be...
I like that guy. He's kind of cute.
Oh, hey, maybe I'll hook you up. No, for the people that aren't in the know, my vice president, who is a sound editor, is Karol's husband, Steve Urban. So yeah, it all gets very incestuous with post sound.
It's a small community. It is.
No, he's been the best, and you know, I hope he comes back to the board. I know you guys are taking a little hiatus, but we want him back.
I'm sure he'll be back. If I could just add one thing, if you don't mind.
Yep.
In addition to, yes, please welcome to our websites, and if you can attend our awards, please do. But even if you can't, and even if you're not a member, there's going to be a very excellent bit of information after the awards coming from both organizations, highlighting and investigating the workflows and techniques and craft of the individuals who did win. And that'll be in both of our magazines. It shows up on our YouTube. So much to discover, and paths that will open for you to investigate in your own craft simply by just zooming in if you can't make it to the awards, and reading the magazines and the interviews by both of our fabulous volunteer contributors.
Because we're still coming out of COVID, we have our YouTube channel open to everybody right now. So if you missed any of the Sound Advice events, you can go and check those out.
Yep, same here.
And even if you go to our webpage, MPSE.org, you can see our quarterly magazine, which is also open right now to even non-members, and there's a digital version there. So that way people can catch up, see what's been going on, and think about joining up.
Well, I've been to the last couple of awards because they've been virtual. I'm not based in LA. They were really fun. The way they worked virtually was light years better than I was expecting it to be honest with you.
Good.
I'd never done anything like that. I didn't know what to expect, but I had a lot of fun at them. And this year I will be at the MPSE Golden Reel Awards, so I'm really looking forward to being that. But unfortunately, I'm booked to mix back in Toronto before the CAS Awards.
Whatever.
But if you're both going to be at the Golden Reels, I will look forward to meeting you in person and shaking your hands there.
Absolutely.
I look forward to meeting you in person. Absolutely.
Anybody else that wants to come to the awards, feel free to hit up the two websites, MPSE.org and Cinema Audio Society, where you can buy tickets, and maybe I'll run into you there as well. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you so much, Tim. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
If you're in the Los Angeles area, mark your calendar for Tuesday, February 28th at 7 p.m. because Tonebenders is hosting a sound design meetup at the Thirsty Merchant in Studio City. I'm going to be there, and I would love to hang out with as many people from the Los Angeles sound community as possible. So come on out, talk some shop. We have the covered patio set aside for us. If you are working in game audio, film sound, field recording, or any other aspect of sound, please come on out. Full details can be found at tonebenderspodcast.com. Okay, we have a bunch of great episodes coming soon, plus I have amazing talks lined up for when I am in LA, so stay tuned. On behalf of Karol and Mark, my name is Tim Muirhead. Thanks for listening to Tonebenders.
Tonebenders is produced by Timothy Muirhead, Renee Coronado, and Teresa Morrow. Theme music is by Mark Strait. Send your emails to info@tonebenderspodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter via @TheTonebenders, and join Tonebenders Podcast on Facebook. Support this podcast. You can use our links when you shop at Amazon or B&H, or leave us a tip. Just go to tonebenderspodcast.com and click the support button. Thanks for listening.
Are you looking for more audio-related podcasts to listen to? Tonebenders is part of the Audio Podcast Alliance, featuring a hand-picked selection of the very best podcasts about sound. Be sure to hear the latest episodes from our friends in the community at audiopodcast.org.